We have breaking news to announce. The Florida Gators and head coach Billy Napier are indeed still putting belt to ass on the recruiting trail in the month of June. Desmond Green, you are a Florida Gator.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every damn day. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first or second listen of the day. We are available daily and free wherever you listen to podcasts and on YouTube. Desmond Green, offensive lineman out of St. Stephen, South Carolina, has committed to the University of Florida to play for the Florida Gators to give them their fifth offensive line commit of the 2026 cycle. And oh my God, they're red hot. We talked about this potential commitment earlier on Locked On Gators that came out this morning, which, by the way, we also had Florida Gators commit Justin Williams join me for that show. He was the final two segments of the show because, you know, we got to get the main event of the evening in there. But Desmond Green has joined this Florida Gators recruiting class. Desmond Green, 6'4", 6'5", 350 pounds is what he's listed at online. On three, he is a three-star offensive lineman, 47th interior offensive lineman in the country, 11th player in the state of South Carolina. On 24/7, he is the 87th interior offensive lineman in the country, 18th player in the state of South Carolina. On ESPN, he is the 30th interior offensive lineman in the country, 10th player in the state of South Carolina. And on Rivals, gotta love Rivals, 139th player overall, 4-star, 7th interior offensive lineman in the country, and the second-ranked player in the state of South Carolina. And we spoke about this on this morning's episode of Locked On Gators. Oh, I'm sorry. On the first episode of Locked On Gators this morning, because it's still the morning and we've got our second commit here. But we spoke about this earlier. I highly doubt Desmond Green is going to be a 3-star by the end of it all, which again leads me to say once again that recruiting rankings really don't matter anymore at all. I know that people can say, oh, well, historically 4 stars, 5 stars do this compared to 3 stars. Sure. But this ain't historical anymore, right? We're talking about the most politicized rankings we've ever seen, where it's basically, hey, do you come to my camp? Yes. Then a bump up in the stars. Hey, do you come to my camp? No. Then a bump down in the stars. So I don't give a damn about the 3-star ranking right now. I give a damn about who he had committable offers from. Because who he had committable offers from were Georgia, South Carolina, Oklahoma, and many others. But those were the main 4 we were talking about with Desmond Green for the Florida Gators. And I will say this as well, because I know that there are people that go, oh, well, he would be this part in their class, and he's going to be, higher up in Florida's class. Shut the hell up. My goodness. Get over it. You're getting a good football player with an offensive line coach who, for all the criticism I will give him, has had 2 3-star offensive linemen get to All-American status. You think I give a damn about what you think in the comments there when we're talking about that? Do you? Because the answer is no. Desmond Green's a Florida Gator. And if you watch Desmond Green, which we will, I think what we're going to do is tomorrow have the scouting report episode for him. But if you watch Desmond Green, then you will see something very similar to what you see from basically all of the other Florida Gators offensive line targets. Not even commits, targets of big guy, right? 6'4", 6'5", 350 pounds. Big guy, long arms, athletic, and is aggressive as all hell. He needs technical refinement. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that a high school offensive lineman wasn't ready for the NFL right now? No, he needs refinement, as does every offensive lineman coming out of high school or anywhere. Because, like I've said, I think offensive line recruiting is worse than it's ever been, or offensive line development in high school is worse than it's ever been. I do think this is one of the best high school classes we've had in a long time, and just nationwide in the offensive line. But Desmond Green joins us as a guy that is going to be a big-time player on the interior. I will say also, because I do know that there are quite a few Florida Gators fans that go, oh, well, Florida's done on the offensive line. I know that there's media that's reported Florida's done on the offensive line. I don't know if that's true. I have said this before. I'm not convinced that there aren't some other players that Florida views as a +1 in this class. Claude Mpuma is one of those guys that I think of. I don't think he's going to be a Gator, but I do think he would be a +1 if he wanted to. I still think they would take him. But again, we're talking about like South Carolina. They're the in-state school for him. They were always going to be in this, right? Georgia. They're Georgia. They've got a really good reputation of taking offensive linemen and developing them into high-caliber NFL players, right? Or high-ranking NFL draft picks, we'll say. Oklahoma has an offensive line coach in Bill Bedenbaugh, who is, I don't want to say widely, but it's not uncommon to hear Bill Bedenbaugh as the best offensive line coach in the country. And I mean, I've spoken to NFL coaches and NFL front office members that have told me that's the best offensive line coach in the country. Like if he's coaching a guy and he says, hey, this guy can be really good, we're willing to swing on that. And so he was being recruited by those schools. But that ain't where he's winding up. He's going to be a Florida Gator. After I see you in the chat talking about how long the commitment ceremony was. Yeah, it was a long commitment ceremony. That's not unexpected at this point. Like, that's why I said, I think it was on this morning's episode where I was like, look, we could be going live at 11 if it's just start the ceremony and go, or it could be like 12. You know how long these things drag out, because they do drag out a long time. He had like 6 people talk. But again, that's also another thing where the way that I think about it is you only get that once, right? Like when you're coming out of college, you don't get the choice. You don't get to have a whole ceremony and tell people where you're going. You don't get to dictate that. No one cares. Like, you don't get to say anything. So I don't care how much these kids milk it. I really don't. I just hope that they go about the process the right way. And if like the right way does not mean that you can't have a big ceremony. You can have a big ceremony all you want. Okay, here's the thing: you're either going to be a Florida Gator or you're going to get your ass kicked at the end of the day. That's how it's going. And Desmond Green chose to be the ass kicker, which, if you've ever watched his film, is not surprising that that's the side that he chose to be on. Desmond Green is just a bully. Like, there's no other way to put it. He's just an absolute bully. So Desmond Green is just a dude. Love the commitment. Love the addition to the class. And the Florida Gators now have 5 offensive linemen committed in this 2026 class. They had, 3 last year? They're already considerably above that. We will talk about the recruiting rankings. We will talk about the chat, talking about whatever. You're going to be talking about whatever you want to talk about. We will talk about that when we get back with this bonus episode of Locked On Gators. You ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat, and it's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, all of your investments, and all of your spending in one place. So, in addition to managing your money, you're also building your wealth. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com. Code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. And fellas, this one's for you. Just letting you know, you've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rugiette Ready. Rugiette Ready is the next-gen prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal in the brain and boost blood flow. Unlike the usual pills that could take hours, Rugiette's 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue, kicks in fast, and on average in 15 minutes. Effects can last up to 36 hours, so you can stay confident and in control when the moment is right. Head to rugiet.com/lockedoncollege and use code LockedOnCollege to get 15% off today. That's rugiet.com/lockedoncollege. Use promo code LockedOnCollege for 15% off. Individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. Please visit the Rugiet website for full safety information. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. Every day we are available daily and free wherever the podcast and on YouTube. You know what? I just want to say this real quick. There are a ton of inappropriate jokes I can make coming off of that, and I just want to make it clear. Like I'm patting myself on the back for not doing that. All right, but I just want to make that one clear. But the Florida Gators in the 2026 recruiting class have been climbing. Like this is a class where, don't forget, a month and a half ago had one commit. Month and a half ago had one commit in that entire class. Now they're at 14. And by the way, on 3, they rank 14th in the 2026 recruiting rankings. Miami is still 7th. Florida State is 11th, but Florida 14th. By the way, just to throw this out there, Miami has 4 more commits than Florida. Florida State has 5 more commits than Florida. And so I think the best joke goes to the insider program. Maybe. I think the best joke might get caught in the insider filter. But maybe we'll see. Might send it to. And on 24/7, Florida's at 14 commits there. Desmond Green is the lowest ranked commit in the class there now, and let me tell you, he's not going to stay there long. I think 24/7 has their next update coming in July. And yeah, they're not done. Like that Florida is going to climb up that one, I think, considerably. I think there are a few players in this Florida class where they're going to get a pretty sizable jump in their recruiting rankings. I do think Desmond Green is one of them. I do think that you could see quite a few other guys like Tyler Chukwuem take a pretty big jump, Jeraylen McCoy take a pretty big jump, and I think that you'll see Florida really climb up those rankings. But again, this is just Florida kicking ass on the trail now. Like you look at Florida's class and you could genuinely say, hey, 2026 offensive line class could be done. And like Double Gator said here, way to turn around the narrative that we can't recruit O-line. And look, I know that there are people who will look at this recruiting class and say, all right, who's committed on the offensive line, right? On 24/7, let me see if I could see it on if On3 will say all of the commits there. Yeah, okay. So if you look at, we'll say again, On3, because On3 has all the rankings. You talk about who's on this Florida Gators offensive line class or who's in this Florida Gators offensive line recruiting class. Chancellor Campbell is a 3-star overall, right? Okay. Chancellor Campbell is a 3-star overall there. He's a 3-star on every platform. Desmond Green is a 3-star overall. He's a 3-star on every platform except a 4-star on Rivals. Janari Carr is a 3-star overall. He's a 3-star on 3 and 24/7, 4-star on ESPN and Rivals. Tyler Chukwuem is a 3-star overall. He's a 4-star on 3 and a 3-star 24/7, unranked in ESPN and Rivals. Not surprising. Javari Lucas, 3-star overall, 3-star on 3, 3-star on 24/7, unranked in ESPN and Rivals. Okay? That is not going to stay that way at all. Like just based on how the rankings work with other platforms. Like On 3 is not going to have a kid a 4-star on ESPN and Rivals. Yeah, he's unranked. That's why I'm saying, like, we could talk about the 3-stars. We could talk about this all you want. Or more so, you guys can talk about that. Because I really don't care about it being a 3-star. I think that offensive line is the hardest position to evaluate. And I think that the recruiting services do a really awful job of evaluating it to begin with. So I don't care about any of that. But I will say, like, you guys can talk about the rankings. But I will also say you're talking about the rankings in June. Like you're talking about Tyler Chukwuem being a 3-star, even though it's very clear ESPN, Rivals, and 24/7 have not yet updated their rankings on him. We're talking about like guys that are going to be higher ranked. Like you can get your trolls off and you can say whatever you want about them now, But just know, like, you're doing yourself a disservice by going, oh, great, landed a 3-star interior offensive lineman. You're landing him in June. Right? Like, recruiting doesn't matter until they put pen to paper, right? Why does ranking? Spoiler alert, it doesn't. Okay? It doesn't. CJ Bernal is also going to climb. I hope so. Like he's decently ranked by most sites. But I do think that he has legit top 50 potential by the time we're all said and done here with those recruiting rankings. I see a lot of people complaining about how long the commitment was. Just, you know what? Just don't watch it then. It's honestly as simple as that. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. I had it open, but I could tell it was going to take a while. So I was doing other work in the background because I thought it was like, all right, it's going to take a bit. So they're going to drag it out. I'm not going to let them drag my day out either. But yeah, Florida kicking ass on the trail. 5 commits now there. And yeah, they're not done yet. They're staying hot on the trail. They're going to make some more moves. Maybe even today, maybe even the rest of this weekend. Who's to say? But Florida getting red hot on the recruiting trail, staying red hot. In fact, screw red hot. White hot. Florida's white hot on the recruiting trail, and they're not done yet. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free wherever you listen to the podcast and on YouTube. We will be back tomorrow at the absolute latest to talk more Florida Gators football and Florida Gators recruiting as well. For Locked On Gators, I'm Brandon Olsen. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find all my written work with New York Giants on SI, and I'll see you all next time.